Hi, so I arrived yesterday at the hotel around 1 a.m. and it's now quarter to 11 on May 8th. So I wanted to share with you some of my experiences so far. When I got up this morning, I met Marta, who is my travel companion. She is from the Netherlands, and we're going to be traveling up to the Himalayas together and doing our teacher training course. So we met up and went to the Kahn Market, got some tunics and some clothes, that beautiful Indian clothing, to make sure that we're fitting in within the culture and the community here. And then we had lunch at a place called Kahn Chacha, which is, of course, authentic Indian food. And I had a vegetarian haryali kebab. So it was made of spinach, potatoes, cheese, all ground up into these little kind of kebab forms. And it's served with a spicy yogurt and raw onions. And it was quite spicy because it had green chili in it. So it was interesting because the onions actually helped to cut the spice. Raw onions, so it was really good paired together. Then we came back to the hotel, had a little nap, trying to get the body, figuring out the time change, and then I went for a walk in Lodhi Gardens. And it's a really beautiful gardens. There's a mosque and some tombstones, and I think they might actually have High Park beat in Toronto for the number of squirrels running around. They're little tiny ones, so not as big as the ones in Ontario, but little tiny squirrels running around everywhere. And then one of Marta's colleagues actually is from Delhi, and he set us up with one of his cousins. So we went there for dinner tonight, and Layla opened us into her home with a beautiful meal. Her father was there, and sister, as well as her son Sean. So we had butter chicken, kali dal, which is black lentils, parantha, which is like a bread that you eat everything with your hands, so you kind of scoop the lentils and pea rice up with the parantha and eat it that way, and zira aloo, which is actually potatoes cooked with cumin. And it's interesting because if you remember from my previous blog, I talked about curcumin, the anti-inflammatory alternative to Tylenol that I've brought with me. I've already had cumin as a spice in my food, so I'm pretty excited to be ingesting my anti-inflammatories through spices in the food that I'm eating. And for dessert, they served like a custard with fruit and cake, which was really good as well. Now, visiting with Layla and Sean, it was really nice. Sean's a very competitive football player, so he was training soccer 2 hours before dinner, and he's 14 years old, so very young, and is getting ready to head away to Italy this summer to train for 2 weeks. And it was great being able to talk to them, especially as we were sharing what we do in my work with athletes back home in Nova Scotia, training them in yoga and nutrition, so we were able to talk about that a lot. And one thing that came up was how there is yoga being shared for athletes all over the world now, with everywhere except in India. So, one of the bigger lands of ancestry for the practice, and it's not being shared necessarily as common as it is in other countries for athletes. Anyhow, it was really nice being able to connect with them in that way and talk about, the hockey players and the guys that I work with at home, and hearing about his training and what he does here. Anyhow, thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day, and please leave any questions, comments, or suggestions in the little box. Cheers!